Okay, so picture this. There's this massive factory, it's a huge employer in the area, and it decides to host a free, month-long medical camp for the local community. Sounds pretty great, doesn't it? A perfect example of a company giving back. But what if the very people this camp is supposed to be helping see it as a complete sham, a cover-up for something much, much darker? Let's dive in and try to understand what's really going on here. And that's the big question at the heart of this whole thing, right? On one hand, you've got this act of corporate goodwill. On the other, you have a community that's angry and in pain. So how can both of these things be true at the exact same time? To figure that out, we've got to look beyond the official story. All right, so first up, let's take a look at the story the company is telling. The official version of events about this medical camp. So on paper, everything looks amazing. You have this major private factory near the village of Dala. It's a huge deal for the local economy. We're talking jobs for thousands of people. And every single year, for a whole month, it sets up a free medical camp. This is all part of what's called corporate social responsibility, or CSR, which is basically the good stuff a company is supposed to do for the community. It's the kind of story companies love. Seems like a total win-win, right? Okay, but that's just one side of the coin. Because if you actually talk to the people who live there, you hear a very, very different story. And honestly, it's a chilling one. And this is where things take a really dark turn. The villagers are straight up accusing the factory of poisoning their groundwater, their water. They believe this pollution is the direct cause of this wave of horrific diseases, especially cancer, that's just been tearing through their towns. And we're not talking about a few people with a grudge. This is an accusation coming from entire communities. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but is there any proof? Well, this isn't just a hunch. The community went looking for hard data. And the numbers they found, well, they're truly frightening. Let's take a look. So they used what's called a right to information request to get official data from the health department, covering everything from 2018 to 2024. And what it shows is just staggering. Look at these villages all clustered around the factory. Inderkot, 27 patients, 13 of whom died. Ruki Kalan, 21 patients, 13 deaths. Asfal Kalan, 19 patients, 15 deaths. I mean, these numbers just paint a really bleak picture of widespread illness and loss. But then there's one number that just hits you right in the gut: 44. That's the number of cancer patients in Dala, the village located literally right next to the factory. And get this, of those 44 people, 26 have already passed away. For a small village, that's not just a statistic, that is an absolute catastrophe. It's so easy to get lost in the numbers, but we have to remember, behind every single one of those numbers is a person, a family, a whole life. And to really get what's going on, we have to look past the data for a minute. Take this one story from that same village, Dala. Just a few months ago, a 17-year-old boy died from cancer. He was his parents' only son. For the people who live there, there's no mystery about what caused his death. They firmly believe it was the contaminated water that they say is coming from the factory. A story like that, it puts a very real, very tragic human face on all those terrifying statistics. So if this is the reality on the ground, let's circle back to that free medical camp we started with. How do you think the villagers see it? Well, they're not seeing it as some generous gift. They think it's deeply cynical. They actually call it the mask of social service. This powerful quote from community members really says it all. By doing such dramatic work, a mask of social service is being worn. To them, this medical camp isn't an act of kindness at all. It's a performance. It's a drama designed to hide a much darker truth. So why would they do it? What could possibly be the motive? Well, the villagers believe it all comes down to a cold, calculated business strategy. Here's how they see it playing out. Step 1, the company puts on a big show of public welfare, like this medical camp. Step 2, this very public work ticks the legal box for their CSR requirements. And here's the kicker. Step 3, by fulfilling those requirements, the company becomes eligible for huge government subsidies and other financial perks. So in their eyes, the camp isn't about giving back to the community, it's about taking more from the system. So this leaves us in a really strange place, with two completely opposite realities, both existing in the exact same place, at the exact same time. Let's just break it down side by side. On one side, you have the official story of corporate responsibility, We provide jobs, we offer free medical care, we're fulfilling our legal duties. Then, on the other side, you have the community's accusation. You're polluting our environment, you're spreading disease and death, and this whole thing is just a drama to get government money. It's just night and day. And so we're left with this really profound and unsettling question. When a company's acts of goodwill exist right alongside such immense community suffering, what is the true measure of responsibility? Is it just about ticking a box on a legal form, or is it something much deeper, a fundamental duty to protect the very people who live in your shadow? There's no simple answer to that.